Hi, everybody. I'm Suzanne Shirley with Plexus Worldwide. I'm an Emerald Ambassador, and we are with Team Freedom, and we are doing Romi Neustadt, 7-figure annual earner, Get Over Your Damn Self. And I am telling you right now, this gal knows what she's talking about. She is a powerhouse. She is amazing. All right, so I love this chapter. It gives you the nuts and bolts like crazy. So if you want examples of how to message people, what to say, how to talk to people, this entire chapter, which is chapter 5, is talking about how she talked her way to a 7-figure income. And really what that means is you have to talk to, get this, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people, which leads to thousands. Now, does that mean you're going to go out and sponsor thousands of people? No, you might sponsor, I think the average, they did an average ambassador active, an average sponsoring of ambassadors for Jewel, for an entry-level Jewel, which is Emerald, is about 40 level 1s. That's an average. Now, does that mean that when you hit 40, you're going to be an Emerald? No, because I have way more than 40 level 1s, okay? I will say I have at least 43 level 1s on my particular position. Under Tom's position, I have another 30-something, okay, or 40. I can't even remember. I don't count, all right? I do actually count, but I can't remember the number. It's because I don't keep track of the numbers. But what I'm saying is they're not all active. I'd say less than half of them are active. But what I'm saying is that there's no specific number. You just know that you're going to have to talk to a lot of people, and you're going to have to help other people learn on your team how to talk to a lot of people and train them to duplicate you. So she talked her way in. Romi talked her way into step 1, earning her investment back, which is what we do in Plexus. We get our products paid for. Number 2, matching her public relations income. And then number 3, she retired her husband from clinical medicine. And then number 4, she talked her way into earning a 7-figure income. So she just talked and talked and talked and talked and talked until she got these goals met. Now, what are you going to be doing when you start talking to people? You're going to get your feet dirty. You're going to get your hands dirty. You're going to walk in a lot of mud, and you're going to fail forward. You're going to make a lot of mistakes. And you need to just go into this knowing that you're going to go in there and you're going to say the wrong stuff. You're going to say a lot of wrong stuff. You're going to overly educate. You're going to overly give people too much information, and you're going to basically make some mistakes, a lot of mistakes, okay? And you're just going to have to just go ahead and accept that. You're going to make a lot of mistakes. And in doing so, you're going to learn the art of connecting with people, and you're going to learn what it is that you need to be saying to them. And you're going to learn the best things to say to people to connect and make that rapport with them. We all have made the mistake. She talks about overly educating people, giving them TMI, too much information. You basically vomit all kinds of facts on people. You give them too much information about product, about the company, about all kinds of things. And even your story. You don't just go off and tell everybody your story and talk about yourself immediately. You can do that later. But you start with asking the right questions and getting them to give you some information, finding out what they need, find out what their pains are. And the more you ask them questions and interview them and be real concerned with them and genuine, they are going to learn to trust you. You're going to build rapport with them. You're going to make a connection with them, and they're going to want to join you. And so it's learning how to do that, all right? If you've gotten this far in the book and the thought of having thousands of conversations with people makes you run for the hills, she says right off, this may not be for you. Okay, and I'm being real honest with you. If you feel that way, if you feel like having hundreds and thousands of conversations with people is not your thing, this is not your thing then. Because How else are you going to be a jewel? If you want to earn that six-figure income, now not everybody on here might want to earn a six-figure income. And if that's the case, that's fine. You don't have to talk to hundreds and hundreds and thousands of people. But I will tell you this, if you want to replace your income, first of all, and then earn a six-figure income, some of you earn a six-figure income already. So you've got a lot of work to do, all right? You're on the way to doing it. But if you are uncomfortable with talking to people and you just can't imagine enjoying talking to people, she asks you in this book to give her at least a few more chapters, and maybe she might be able to encourage you and educate you enough so that you can fall in love with talking to people and actually enjoy helping them. Because what you're doing is you're consulting. You are not selling. You are sharing. You are a sharer of answers to people's lives. And if it's not a fit for them, then you move on to the next person. You don't sell something to people that they don't want. You share, you give enough information to where they can take a look and see if this is something they might want or be a good fit for them. And if it's not, no problem. You're going to turn them into a customer, or you're going to ask them for referrals, and you're going to be very specific about how you're going to get those referrals, which is later on in the chapter. And then you're going to move to the next person. But every person is useful to you. They're either going to join your team, they're going to purchase as a customer, or they're going to provide you with some referrals. And you can get really good at figuring out how to get those done, okay? So the whole thousands of conversations thing, let's figure it out. What makes you feel queasy, she says. And the ick factor, the I don't know if I can do this factor, comes from you just not liking people enough to want to talk to everybody that you know, everybody that you meet, and everybody that you get connected to all the time. And if you admit that, then she says, I applaud you for at least being real and admitting that and being honest, okay? So if you don't want or love to talk to people, then you're definitely not going to earn a seven-figure income or a six-figure income or anything else. You're going to have to learn how to love to talk to people. Learn how to be okay with saying the wrong thing. Learn how to be okay with making a mistake, with failing. Learn to be okay with it and expect that you're going to fail, and learn that that's just going to be the stepping stone to your success. Maybe, just maybe, you can fall in love with talking to people. Just maybe. Maybe you can transform into somebody who gets all energized and lit up by interacting with other humans and connecting them with products and business that can enhance or change their life. Just maybe you can do that. So is it torturous? Do you feel dreadful when you approach people? Are you unsure of what to say to people? Or do you struggle through your conversations that you have? Well, she's going to teach you a way to talk to people in a compelling, authentic, and organic way. Also, what about, does the thought of talking to all these people just exhaust you? Does it exhaust you? Does it feel like you've got to build the whole Golden Gate Bridge wire by wire, cable by cable, brick by brick, steel beam by steel beam? Is that what it feels like to you? Or maybe carving out Mount Rushmore? She talks about those things. Is that what it feels like to you? Like you've got 13,000 mountains to climb in front of you? If that's what it feels like, once you get the hang of this, you're going to be talking to people all the time, and you're going to be having fun doing it. But you can't look at it as if you've got to build the Golden Gate Bridge by yourself. And you can't look at it as if you've got to carve out the whole Mount Rushmore by yourself or climb 13,000 mountains by yourself. You're not going to do that. You're going to start falling in love with talking to people. But you have to fall in love with talking to people. And if you cannot fall in love and you refuse to go about trying to learn how to fall in love with talking to people, then you will not be successful at this. Okay? It's going to be a hobby for you. You might not earn very much money if you cannot learn to enjoy talking to everybody that you see. I'll just give you a human moment here. When I get on the plane, I want to put my earbuds in and I want to disconnect and I want to just read. I think I've said this before in a previous Zoom. I don't want to talk to Joe Schmo sitting next to me and Joe Schmo sitting across the aisle. I want to take a few hours that I can't be on a phone and no one's going to ask me a question and read a book. That's what I want to do. Or take a nap. Or watch some sort of episode that I've saved on my phone to some show that I like. I want to just kind of unplug, right? But I'm telling you, I have made myself, and as outgoing as I am, that's sort of an introverted type of thing that I've got going on. Because we're not all extroverts or all introverts. We are something of everything, right? And we need some alone time. We need to recapture some time to ourselves. And I'm spread too thin a lot of the times. And I don't want to talk to everybody and their dog. I want to just go to the tanning salon, get my session, go back there and do the tanning session and say goodbye, have a nice day and leave. But no, there's a person there that might need my help. There's a person behind the counter that I've never seen before, and I'm going to share what I do with her. Or I'm going to share while I'm standing in line instead of just keeping to myself and thinking about my own thoughts. So put yourself out there. Fight off the urge to be inside of your head and inside of yourself. Start learning to fall in love with other people. Start expecting something great to happen as a result of your conversations. And don't worry about it if you make mistakes. It's okay. You're going to have to make a lot of mistakes, okay? She said that she started out as a party of one. Then, by doing all the things that you're supposed to do, by starting to talk to everybody that she knew, crazy duplication started to happen with her. And when she first started out, she sucked at what she did. When I first started out, I sucked at what I did. But I will tell you this, passion and belief trumps knowledge. So I could have had all these scripts and techniques memorized, and it wouldn't have mattered one iota compared to the passion and the belief that I had in what I was sharing with people. And so, my friends, your passion and belief is what's going to bring people to want to join you. It's not your knowledge of what script to say and the right terminology to use. So just figure that out. If you suck, that's okay. Go ahead and suck. Allow your passion and your belief to trump your knowledge of scripts and verbiage, okay? Don't worry about it. When she says she sucked, she asked way too few questions. She gave way too much information. She rarely listened to anyone. She didn't ask them about themselves, and she spewed facts on everybody. Who's been there? I've been there. I have to watch myself. I know that I can still do it. It's a tendency. We want to convince everybody of all of our knowledge. We want to tell them how awesome Plexus is. We want to share with them the world about Plexus, but we cannot fall prey to that. We just can't. Even though she says she was horrible and did not know what she was doing, she started to build a team and a customer base, and then a business that took off a week later that's become one of the people that she talked to that very first week. Her business took off, and less than a week later, that one girl that she started talking to that first joined her became one of her MVPs and is a top leader on Intercompany. So you can't discount the people that you first talk to. So what are the rules that you have to live by when you reach out? What are the rules? When you follow these rules, you're going to connect authentically and emotionally with people. And you're going to find it a lot easier to have conversations that resonate with your prospects. And you're also going to find the process more purposeful and efficient. And if you have not starred these rules 1 through 14, you better get them down. These are good rules to follow when you have conversations. And I'm not talking texting. I'm talking face-to-face or on the phone. When you're talking to people, okay? Because you're not going to, listen to me, you are not going to sponsor someone by texting them all the time. And if you do, you are lucky, because it's not going to happen. You're going to have to make that personal connection and get on the phone or sit across from them at a table having a coffee or a breakfast or something. Okay? So get yourself, the purpose of texting is to make an appointment so you can get on the phone And what are the rules? Number 1, don't be attached to the outcome of any conversation. We're going to go into each one of these. Number 2, do not be on the hunt. Remember, you're a farmer, not a hunter. Number 3, less is always more. Number 4, be authentic. Be yourself. Number 5, you cannot say the wrong thing to the right person. Oh, that's so true. Number 6, if you find yourself trying to convince people, just stop it. Stop trying to convince people. Number 7, listen, really listen to people. Number 8, work from appointment to appointment. Remember, your goal is to make an appointment and get on the phone. Appointment to appointment. Number 9, don't count your chickens before they hatch. If people say they're going to join you, don't say, well, hey, I can sit back now because I got 5 or 6 people saying they're going to join me this month. Oh, what if none of them join you? Hello. We don't count the chickens. Number 10, lead with the business, default to the products. That's a huge one. Number 11, don't leave rambling voicemails. Have I done this? Oh my gosh, I've done all these. I've done them all. I can't even tell you recently. Oh my gosh, made some big mistakes. Number 12, lead with what's in it for them. WIIFT. Okay, what's in it for them. Number 13, if it's a no to the business, you're going to ask them for referrals. And then the last one, number 14, don't end the conversation without talking about becoming your customer. Don't ever end the conversation without offering them to become a customer. Let's take these apart. Number 1, don't be attached to the outcome of any conversation. Do not let your no's or your maybes distract you or slow you down. Remember, you must focus on the activity, not the results. You have to disconnect yourself from the outcome of what you're doing. Focus on, I'm talking to 10 people a day on a message, and I'm gonna make a goal to get on the phone with 2 people a week. Whatever your goals are, those are my goals, by the way. Those are personal, okay? I have recruiting goals. I have new customer goals. My goals are that I'm going to reach out to X number of people per week. However I get that done, that's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to reach out to X number of people a week. And usually it depends on my week, because this next week I have 3 sip and sees in a week. So I'm talking 2 weeknights and 1 weekend. And those are exhausting, and they are wonderful, and they are so amazing, but they are exhausting. And you have to plan, and you have to get there early. You have to stay a little bit later because you're going to talk to people. So I'm telling you, that kind of a week looks a little bit different when I'm reaching out to a bunch of people, because they might be answering me or asking me questions or talking back to me, and I've got to follow up with all of them. On a week where I don't have as many meetings, I'm going to schedule more reach outs, and I plan those on Sunday nights. I get all my reach outs planned on Sunday night. So I'm telling you right now, I spent today, and I have my list of folks ready to go that I'm going to be reaching out to this week, so that come Monday, I'm not going, who am I going to reach out to? I don't know. And then I just won't ever get it done. So I get that planned out. So I'm going to, let me tell you my goals. So I have X number of people I'm going to reach out to a week. I know I'm going to follow up with whoever I reached out to last week. I've got to follow up with them. And my goal is to get on the phone with a minimum of 2 people. As a result of conversations, I'm going to get on the phone with 2 people, a minimum. And I'm also going to have at least 2 new customers a month and a minimum of 3 new ambassadors. 5 would be great per month. Those are my goals. But I do not focus on the outcome. I know that if I focus on how many people I reach out to and how many people I follow up with and how many people I get on the phone with, those are not outcome based. Those are action based. Those are activities. I'm focused on activities, not on results. And the more you focus on that, the better off you're going to be, and you're not going to be discouraged. Okay? You're going to get distracted if you start looking at your results. Number 2, do not be on the hunt. We are farmers, not hunters. You don't go around saying, who am I going to go get today? Who am I going to go get today? Because when you do that, you're thinking about yourself. You're not thinking about anybody else but you. And you have got to have a mind that thinks that you're helping people. And you're sharing. You are share people. You are not sales people. We aren't selling. We are sharing. And when you're thinking about, I got to go get somebody, somebody have just to join my team. Who's going to join my team this week? Who's going to join? I got to get somebody. You're not thinking about helping anyone. You're thinking about yourself. So get your mind off yourself. As share people, we do not focus on what we can get from others. Instead, we're curious about their lives, their hopes, their desires. We're genuinely interested in giving information, giving solutions, and listening to see if it's a good fit for them. Okay? Giving mentoring. If it is a good fit for them, then what else are we going to be giving? We're going to give our mentorship. Okay? If somebody doesn't want it, then there's no disappointment. Don't be disappointed if they don't want it. It's just not a good fit for them. Because you weren't after anything in the first place. You weren't trying to get them to join you. You were seeing if it might be a good fit for them. So don't focus on being on the hunt. Your objective is to help people get what they want. And when you focus on that, your rank up, your promotion, and everything else, your paycheck will take care of itself. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. When I first started to realize that I might be an emerald in the next few months after, somebody had to tell me that my points were there. My sponsor had to text me and say, have you looked at your points recently? I had stopped looking at the back office. I had stopped focusing on what I had or didn't have in my back office as far as points went. Now, am I telling you that you've got to disregard your back? No, I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is that I decided to start focusing on my team, to start helping them to get what they want, to start making sure that their needs were met, to start being there, to start planning sip and sees, to start helping my prospects and counseling them, seeing if it was a good fit, sharing the love of Plexus. That's all I was thinking about. Okay? And then the rank took care of itself. Less is more, number 3. So say less and you're going to get better results. Okay, you want to be a questioner. It's like dating. Think about this. And she uses a very good analogy. When you start seeing somebody, you don't want to just show too much skin right away. You don't want to be she calls it slut. You don't want to be a slut, right? It's funny. It's the same thing when you have conversations about your business. You don't want to be a prospecting slut where you're giving so much information out there that it's going to A, bore them, or B, turn them off. Boring them, overwhelming them, or even worse, turning them off and they don't even want to listen to you. So stop the verbal vomit. If you're vomiting verbally all over people, you need to stop it. And especially even when you sponsor them and they're new on your team, stop vomiting all over them. Stop telling them all about how to take the products. Send them a text. Give them some basics. Help them through it if they have questions. You focus on connecting. You focus on finding out who they are, what makes them tick. Ask them some questions. What are their goals? Where would they like to be? What are their dreams? What's their past look like? What do they do? What do they do with their family? What does their daily routine look like? Get to know them. Make a connection. You're not going to verbally vomit all the training on them week 1, day 1. Send them a video. Send them a text about how to take the product. You focus on making the connection. And when you do that, you're going to have an ambassador that sticks with you. Not one that just says, well, all she did was give me all this information and she doesn't care about me. She doesn't want to get to know me. She just wants me to earn money for her. Do you see what I mean? I had a girl on this big Zoom that I did the other day, and I think I mentioned this. It was with a bunch of senior rubies, and I did this Zoom with them, and she said, I have a hard time with my team. They all think that all I want to do is every time I tell them about how to do the business and what to do and how to be successful, that it's all about me, that all I want to do is earn a bunch of money and get them to help me earn more money. And I said, have you made a connection with them? Do you know them? Have you spent some time with them? If you live out of state, have you been on a Zoom? Have you gotten on the phone? Have you called them just to talk about life? Do you spend time with these people? Or are all you're doing is putting on your makeup and getting in front of a video and teaching them the basics of the business? Because you got to make a connection with these people. These are your family. These are your friends. Who are you going to be doing? This is people you do life with. This is not people that earn you money. These are people that do what you do, and they are volunteers who are volunteering to do this with you. And that is it. And you know, it was silent when I said all that stuff. I don't know how else to say it, but being very frank. So make connections. Less is more. Ask yourself this question. Am I talking too much? Am I being a prospecting slut right now? Am I talking too much? Okay. Ask them to take a closer look. Just ask them to take a look. Get them to set the next date on the appointment book. That's all you're doing. You're not going to talk to them and talk to them and talk to them. Your goal is just to set the next appointment where you can chat with them again. Okay? Number 4, be authentic. That means be you. Your power comes from being authentically yourself. People respond to people who are actually real, not fake. Okay? The incredibly successful leaders of her company are all unique. They are uniquely themselves. They're not cookie cutters of each other. They are unique and they are themselves. They let their personalities come through in conversations, presentations, and social media. They are just uniquely them. Their networks respond to them because they know it's not what? It's not BS. There is no BS. So be you, be prepared, be confident, be yourself. That's where your power lies. Number 5, you can't say the wrong thing to the right person. So you can say all the wrong things, but if you've got somebody who really wants this, you can say all the wrong stuff to them and they're going to join you. So know that. That's why I'm saying you need to just don't worry about failing. Just go ahead and get your feet dirty, your hands dirty, muddy yourself up, trip down, fall down, skin your knee, and get back up, dust yourself off, and do it again. Because you can't say the wrong thing to the right person. Know that. Unbridled enthusiasm can go a long way, which is one of the reasons why you want to talk to live people live. You want to talk to them live instead of hiding behind your emails and your texting. You want to get on the phone, let them hear your voice. Tony Robbins says, perfection is the absolute lowest standard that you can have for yourself because it's impossible to attain. So don't let your fear of not saying everything right and perfect be something that keeps you from reaching out. Don't be so afraid to reach out that you have to say everything right, because you're not going to be right all the time. You're going to make mistakes. There's this thing that she calls the chicken and the egg problem. What's that? It's your quest to perfection. You cannot get better if you don't talk to people. If you don't start talking to people, you're not going to learn how to get good at this. You're going to have to learn how to make a lot of mistakes so you can get great at this. You are going to be afraid to talk to people because you're not good enough. Don't be afraid to talk to people just because you're not good enough. Who cares? You're going to get good enough. While you're running around in circles in your head, somebody else is going to get out there and prospect to your people on your chicken list, and they're going to join them, and they're going to join their teams as customers or representatives of some sort. And you're going to miss out because you're so stuck in your head that you've got to be perfect and get all your little ducks in a row before you say stuff to them. Stop with that. Okay. Number 6, if you find yourself convincing people, just stop trying to do it. Avoid getting into the convincing mode, because guess what? It's unproductive and people are going to turn around and run away. All right. They're just going to run off, and it's going to turn them off big time. And I can always tell when somebody, you can see it in their face. I talked to somebody the other day that I sold them a 7-day trial, and they wanted to try the product. But I talked a little bit too much about the business because she wasn't interested. And I started to see her body language. She was sitting in the car with me, and she even went like this. She kind of pulled back a little bit, and she breathed a little bit deeper. And she kind of moved her eyes in a different way. And I knew that I needed to shut up about the business. She wasn't wanting it. And I was turning her off, right? And I needed to go back to asking her more questions about her and letting her talk about herself. Okay? You've got to start learning to read people, see their body language. It communicates, oh my gosh, 90% of what people communicate to you is through their body, not what comes out of their mouth. Trust me. When you're dragging people to try to make a decision in your favor, it ends up slowing you down and gives that poor person rug burn. So it's like you're dragging them across the rug, gives them a rug burn. And if you really find yourself in a convincing mode, you're likely not asking the right questions to connect with these people and with what really could do for them. Or basically those people are just not ready in the first place. You're not asking the right questions to find out if it's a good fit, or they're just not ready. So don't drag people into stuff, right? Don't stop trying to convince people. Number 7, listen. Really, really listen to people. You can only learn about who they are, what they want, and what they fear when you give them room to talk. You know, I had a girl that was talking to me the other day, and I had her talking so much about herself that she says, hey, I'm so sorry. I told you way too much. And I said, no, you didn't. It's perfectly fine. And in fact, I wanted her to do that. I wanted her to feel so comfortable that she could unload her life on me. And because I cared enough to listen and not shut her down so I could sell her plexus, it didn't matter, because I'm not going to sell her plexus right there. She's going to join me later. When is she going to join me? Once she trusts me. And once she so-called falls in love with me, to the effect of, not real fall in love, but what I mean, she learns to sort of love me, that I'm real and that I love her and that I have her best interest in heart, not mine. And so when she apologized, I'm so sorry I unloaded all that on you. I'm like, feel free anytime. Whenever you want to talk to somebody, I'm here. I'll listen to you. And whatever you have to say, trust me, I've heard it all. I've heard it all. I make people feel more comfortable. I've learned how to do that. Did I not do that in the beginning? Absolutely not. I talked way too much in the beginning. And I still can do that. And like I said, you have to teach yourself by trial and error. You're not going to be good at this until you practice it. Okay? Number 8. Work from appointment to appointment. So remember, your goal is to not sponsor all these people. You might have a sponsoring goal per month, all right? But you don't focus on that. Your goal, your thing that you work from is getting somebody on the phone to the next phone on the phone. I always do this. When's a good time for you to talk? Such and such or such and such? Afternoons or evenings? Would 4 o'clock or 8 o'clock work better for you? I give them 2 options. And when they say, we're going to do this, how about 8 o'clock on such and such? Great. And I go, fist bump, because guess what? I got an appointment to talk on the phone. And to me, that's a success, because what am I thinking that that's a success about? I'm going to connect with them now. I know that I'm going to get on the phone and there's going to be a personal connection. I'm not expecting a sale. Remember, you don't focus on the outcome. You're not hunting people. You're not saying, this is my next one's going to join me. No, this is the next one I'm going to connect with. This is the next one that's going to form a rapport with me. This is the next one that I know will want to talk to me the next time I contact them. This is the next one who's going to feel more comfortable talking to me the next time. Okay? Remember, you're not focusing on the sale. Appointment to appointment, that's what you work for. And your job is, once you get at the end of that conversation, you make an appointment for your next one. Okay? That's what you're doing. You're not chasing people down. You're setting up the next conversation and appointment while they're talking to their prospect. That's what you're doing, okay? They're not setting up the next conversation appointment while they're talking to their prospect. Sometimes it's because they simply forget to do this important step. So if you are on the phone with somebody and you're not thinking about, I've got to set up the next appointment, you're not being too pushy by doing that. But you've got to start thinking about setting up the next appointment with them. Being professional is never pushy. So when you are focusing on setting the next appointment, you're not being pushy. It's a professional thing to set up the next follow-up. That's all you're doing. Your time is valuable, and so is your prospect's time. So as soon as a prospect enters your funnel, you work from appointment to appointment, and usually no more than 24 to 48 hours apart. Okay, so once they get on the product, you need to contact with them within 24 to 48 hours. So they're on a 7-day trial. You need to talk to them within the 24 hours. What did you love about your Slim? What are you loving about Plexus Slim? Are you getting all your water in? How's your energy level? Have you noticed any changes in energy or sleep yet? Next 24 to 48 hours, you're going to ask them something similar to that. How are your energy levels today? How's your diet? Have you had a chance to work out today? Have you gotten all your water in? What are you loving about today? Ask them something that's going to get a positive response. Okay? 24 to 48 hours apart. So you're going to guide this person through the process of determining how she's going to fit into your business now. That's what you're doing. As a team member, a customer, or a referral source, you're going to set up the next appointment during your current touch point, and it's going to make a much more efficient, enjoyable process for both of you and your prospect. Okay? That's all you're doing is you're setting up the next appointment. Rule 9, don't count your chickens. So that means if you've got 5 people that are talking to you saying they're going to sign up, don't just sit back on your laurels and say, well, I got my 5 this month, because all 5 of them might go into the witness protection agency and never talk to you again. So don't do that. Just keep on prospecting. Keep on talking to people, because those 5 are going to join you when they join you. Do not count your chickens. Number 10, lead with the business, default to the products. And some people are like, how do you do that, Suzanne? It's so easy for me to talk about the product because it's so amazing. I have a testimony. I don't make really that much money yet. How in the world would I lead with the business? Well, I did. I did it from day one. I had no testimony, no paycheck, no team members, not a thing. What did I do? I shared my sponsor's story. You've got to hear me. Oh my gosh, my friend Christine. Blah, 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 blah. I have been watching her, and this is what has happened to her. This friend of hers, Chris McCall, you wouldn't believe what happened to him. Blah, 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 blah. 2 stories. Somebody else's. You don't have yours? Share stories. That's what you're going to do. And what do I always say? I was blown away that she was able to pay so many bills. I'm talking about the business. She was able to do so many more things with her girls and provide and go on a vacation that they'd never taken before. So I'm leading with the business, and I'm doing it by telling a story. It's always more comfortable to lead with the product, but you've got to lead with the business. And if you don't, you're going to have a bunch of wholesale ambassadors. And it's really hard to get somebody who is a wholesale ambassador to start having a business mind. But it's a lot easier to get somebody with a business mind, with the idea that they can make a little money on the side, start getting a product testimony at the same time. It's a lot easier. And I think Michael made that point the other day. Yes, Michael, I think you made that point. Yes, he's giving me the sign. When you start somebody out with the business, they're going to get healthy as a default. But when you start somebody out with the product, it's real hard to help them out with the business. It's just too hard to convert like that. So you start off with the business and let them get healthy as a default. If somebody's not interested in trying your product or service, how the hell, this is what she says. So I'm quoting her. How the hell can you say to them, quote, you're not interested in what our company sells, but you should take a look at starting a business that revolves around the very thing that you're disinterested in. You cannot do that. So you lead with the business. That's the point. Number 11, don't leave rambling voicemails. Oh my gosh, I did that. And it was in, I think, February when I was in Massachusetts at Susie McRae's team and Lori Dragon's team. And I was up there and I was doing some prospecting in my hotel room. And these are 2 people that I wanted to join my team forever and a day, husband and wife. And what did I do? 10 2-minute voice texts on regular instant messenger. Oh my word. And I never heard from them. And one of them said to me, hey, Suzanne, it's really great to hear from you. I'm sort of busy. I haven't had a time to listen to your freaking long 1,000-hour message. He didn't say that, but I don't blame him for not wanting to listen to that. I just was so desperate for them to join me that I just gave them too much. Okay. There was another rock star girl that I wanted to join me. And she was so loving the product. She had been on a 7-day trial. And I just was so enthusiastic that oh my gosh, you'd be so great at this. Oh my gosh, I'm fine. I like to earn a little extra money being a substitute teacher. I really don't have to work. I love doing what I do. I do a food blog. I do this. I do restaurant, tasting things. And I wrote up a food blog for my people. I'm on contract. I just, freelance. I'm happy. I get to spend my time with my children. I'm at the same school with them. And I'm sitting there. She loves the product, on blood pressure medications, wants to get off the blood pressure medications, wants to lose some weight. And I'm pushing the business on her. Well, we get on the phone to sign up. And what does she say to me? I've got a lot of bills to pay this month. I really need to kind of wait. I don't think this is the right time for me. No, heck, it's not right time. Because why? I'm trying to sell her on the business. She didn't want to join somebody that's pushing something on her. So guess what I did? 6 months later, I've been thinking about it. And I finally said to her, hey, Jen, I just have to say, can I just apologize to you? Whether you ever join me or not is beside the point. You know what? At this point, that is totally fine if you don't. But I just had to apologize because I feel like I robbed you of the opportunity to get healthy. That's all you really wanted. And I was trying to push the business on you. But I just want to tell you the reason why I did it. And I did the very same thing that I tell my team not to do. And I committed this grave sin. And I said, it's because you're so amazing. And I just wanted you to join me. But would you please forgive me? And I understand if you don't ever want to. And she's going to probably get back on she's going to probably take the products eventually. Right now is not the time. She's got lots going on. But at the time she would have joined me. It was a good time. But I pushed her away because I was too over the top. So whatever you do, no rambling voicemails. Number 12, lead with what's in it for them. Now this is a long section here. She gives a lot of examples. I don't know if I want to go into all those massive examples, but it's like 5 pages of examples here of how to go into what's in it for them. And if you have not read pages 77 all the way to freaking 84, 77 to 84, that's a long section. This is why you need to learn how to talk to people so that you can tell them what's in it for them. And you don't make it about you. You make it about them. And she gives you example after example after example of how to do that. Hey, Jane, it's Romi. Sorry I missed you, but I'd love to pick your brain about something. I'm available to chat tonight at such and such time or tomorrow morning at such and such time. Give me a call. If I don't hear from you, I'll give you a jingle tomorrow. No, wait a minute. Oh, my Lord, I read from the wrong section. Sorry, Mary. Sorry. Let's go to page 77, Rule 12. I just read from Rule 11. Apologize. Okay, go to Rule 12. I thought I was going to give you one of the examples. How to make it more about them. When you make it more about them, what's in it for them, you're going to start watching your business explode, basically. What you're going to do is you're making it more efficient, natural, and more interactive. These are going to be true conversations instead of monologues. And your closing rate is going to go through the roof. You're going to be better at closing. So how do you do it? Now, here's some examples. You find what their pain is. There's several ways to do it. You either already know what their pain is because you know them personally, okay? Or you can sort of guess what their pain is because of what they do for a living and what they post about on their Facebook page. So you can come up with ideas of what their pains are. And she tells you how to do it. She tells you to make example lists, take a piece of paper, divide it in half, put the pains on the left and the no pains on the right. So, for example, this girl named Jane, stay-at-home mom, used to be a high-powered corporate chick, mentioned her pain. She says she misses grown-up time with her friends. Her head's turning into mush. She hates having to ask her husband before she spends money on herself. She perhaps, the family finances are really smarting with just one paycheck. She feels like she's lost a piece of herself when she left her career. So you know her. That means she's a friend of yours. You know those things about her. So now you're going to talk about your business and how it could reduce her pain. So you're going to make a list of her pains and then turn them into no pains. What could be the result as if you change those pains into gains, right? So instead of missing out making her own money, she could bring in an income. If she misses time with grown-ups, she could be social and collaborative in a business. If she misses identity outside of being a wife and her mom, she can have it all hands-on mom. Okay? So you write the two lists. So how would you talk to Jane in a conversation? You would say something like this. Hey, Jane, it's Romi. You've been on my mind a lot lately. Have you had a few minutes? Do you have a few minutes for me to pick your brain about something? I need about 5 minutes. Is this a good time? You're not telling her why. If she says it's not a good time, then you book another time. You say, no problem. Let's work around your schedule. I'll give you a shout tonight. Which works better, 8 or 9? You give them a selection of 2 times. You always do that. 2 options. If she says, sure, what's up? Sure, let's do that. What's up? Now she wants to know what you're talking about. So now you need to make it all about them. What is in it for them? So here's how you do it. Well, I've been thinking of you a lot because I remember us talking about how you love being there for your kids, but you really miss having something of your own with your own sanity. I'm now working with so many women just like you who are spending part-time hours working every week building lucrative businesses of their very own while still being hands-on moms with flexible schedules. They're able to pay for their kids' activities, fill up college funds and vacation funds, and even in some cases replace income from big old corporate careers like the one you had. Notice how it's all about her. What's in it for them? I don't have any idea if this would be a good fit for you. So that's letting them out, giving them an out. I don't know if this may or may not be good for you. This may or may not be a good fit for you. But it might be a way for you to have your cake and eat it too. I'd love to tell you what I'm up to. Now, do you see how that was all about her? That's why you need to learn how to do it. And you need to read these examples. So what does she say to do this? Okay, how do you do it? Basically, you come up with this little thing. Number 1, what's in it for them? You talk about what's in it for them. Number 2, a little bit more about the company. Number 3, your story. And number 4, attributes about the business or the product. Okay? So when you get on the phone with them, this is after you've scheduled the appointment. You talk about what's in it for them. You give them a little bit about the company, and I mean small information. You give them about your story. Remember how that's supposed to be 4 or 5 sentences. It's not supposed to be a 2-minute story. And then attributes of your business or product. Okay? And then she gives another example about Dana. Now, Dana is somebody, she just gives some examples. I'm not going to read into it. Okay? It's a lot of stuff in there for Dana. If you don't know the person, you haven't talked to him, well, you know him, but you haven't talked to him for 10 years. You can do some sleuthing and get on their Facebook timeline to at least find out what they're passionate about, find out what's up in their lives. Like this one gal, she loves expensive handbags and she's always sporting them, and she loves to get her nails done. So she likes girl time. She likes to do frou-frou things. And maybe she works a very, very exhaustive corporate career and has kids who are getting ready to be college age. So she's not talking about pains on her timeline, but you know enough about her lifestyle that you can kind of give her some really big perks about how it could be for her. Okay? So the message that you could say would be, hey, Lynn, we haven't talked in ages, but I love keeping up with you through our posts. I'm thrilled to see that your life has been so good to you. I'd love to pick your brain for my business. Notice how she says pick your brain all the time. I love that. Since I have a feeling that you might know some people in Louisville that I could help. I work with a lot of women who love earning extra money for travel funds, shameless shoe funds, or even pay it for college. Notice how she hit on the 3 things, okay? I know your son will be there real soon, So you might even want to learn more for yourself. I'd love to set up a time to chat for 10 minutes. We'll better make it 20 so that we can actually catch up properly. I'll be available tomorrow night at 8 or 8:30 or Tuesday at noon. Notice how she gives her 2 options again. Remember, you're going to set up that appointment. That's what you're focusing on. You're focusing on setting up an appointment, and then you're going to set up the next appointment and the next appointment. So tell me which one works for you and the best number to reach you. Okay. What is the result of that? The result is she didn't sign up Lynn, but Lynn became a customer, and Lynn led her to a gal who joined the team and started building a team. Okay. So even if you can't sleuth on somebody's life, what it looks like now, if you can't sleuth about it, you can rely on what you know that person did in the past, what that person was like in the past. She did that with this next person. I'm going to let you read that for yourself. If you cannot figure out somebody's pain and all you have to go on is their profession or that they're a mom or a woman, don't worry about it. Just don't worry about it. You can always say, I know so many people just like you who have been successful doing what I do. People just like you have been successful doing what I do. So I thought you'd want to take a look and decide if this might be a good fit for you too. See, that's so generic, and it really still makes it about them. Notice how everything she says makes it about them. So the idea that she comes across with on page 84 is get into action. Take out a piece of paper and draw a line down the middle of 2 columns. On the top left, write the column pain. On the right, write no pain. Then think of the next person you want to reach out to. List all the possible pain points in that person's life and how the business could provide relief for them. And then from there, you're going to be able to craft your opening talking points for your conversation, and you're going to keep it brief. You're not going to go off about this. You're not going to bleed plexus all over them, okay? Do this exercise every time before you reach out to somebody personally, and you're going to be leading with what's in it for them. WIIFT. Number 13 rule. If it's a no to the business, you're going to ask them for referrals. You're always going to turn them into a referral, okay? Now, what you're going to do is you got to have a hook question. So if it's not a fit, you're going to get referrals. You're going to say this: I totally get that this is not for you. I totally get this is not for you, Maggie. It's not for everybody, but I'd love to pick your brain about your network, since I have a feeling you likely know some people that I could help. Do you have a couple more minutes so I can describe exactly who I'm looking for? And we'll see whose names pop into your head. Now, you're being a little pushy, but you've got to be a little pushy in order to get names from these people. And think about when you start asking them for a little bit, you're asking permission to spend more time with them on the phone, just a little bit more. And when you're asking them for names, you're going to get them to brainstorm about people that they know that would be a good fit for you. And in doing so, they're going to start thinking that it might be for them. They're going to start thinking, well, if she can do it, why couldn't I do it? Well, here's this one person I know. Well, why couldn't I do it? You're going to start getting their cogs, spinning in their brain. So you're asking for specific referrals, and you're going to have a lot more success when you're specific in what you're looking for, okay? She focused on certain demographics as well. So it got easier for people to think of who they knew to fit the description. Say something like this: here's what I'm looking for. And then she begins, and the very first demographic she describes is always the person she's talking to. The same demographic of that person. If it's a stay-at-home mom, guess what? You're talking to a stay-at-home mom. I'm looking for stay-at-home moms. If you're talking to a career woman, you're saying, I'm really looking for really busy career moms that want answers for extra money and time with their family. So you make the demographic the same as the person you're trying to get referrals from. Now, isn't that ingenious? And why is that? Because that person is going to start thinking, well, if my friend Gina, who's a big career woman and is strapped for time and doesn't have any time for her family, could do this, that's me. Why can't I do that too? See what I mean? So if you're talking to a teacher, guess what the demographic is that you're looking for? You're looking for teachers. right? I'm looking for teachers. I really love working with teachers because they're so good at being coachable and teaching others to do this really simple business. If you're talking to a teacher, you tell them you're looking for other teachers, right? Teachers love to make more money because they're so underpaid, and they love having the option down the road to spend more time with their own kids rather than other people's. Oh, and if you're talking to a teacher on the phone, imagine how that is persuasive without even saying it to them. You're talking about somebody else. It's persuasion. It's the power of suggestion. It's the power of creating curiosity. You're persuading without even them knowing you're doing it. If you're talking to a stay-at-home mom, guess what you're going to say? I'm looking for stay-at-home moms. If you're talking to corporate moms, you're looking for corporate moms. If you're talking to somebody who's a really great couple, tell them, I'm looking for couples. Because I get to work with a number of couples who work together. They're each working just part-time, hours a week, and they're able to build their incomes that are fully funding their college funds or retirement funds, opening up a whole wealth of possibilities for them. So whoever it is you're talking to, that's the demographic you're looking for. Okay? I think I made that point. And then if it's really hard for them and they can't really come up with some names, then you send them an email that specifically lists the demographics of the people that you're looking for, and then make an appointment to talk to them about those individuals at a later date. And so that's understandable, all right? You can do that. And when people offer up their referrals, make sure to ask a couple questions about that person that they're connecting with, they're connecting you to, so that you can identify their pain points and prepare a compelling conversation with them. All right, finally, the last rule. Do not end the conversation without talking about becoming your customer. You've got to have a hook question. You got to have a lot of hook questions, but this one's about converting from business to customer, okay? How about this question? If you could have more energy to do all the things that you want to do, would that make a difference in your life? If I could show you a way to have better sleep within the first, few weeks, would that mean something to you? Have you ever considered how much it costs to manage disease? If I could show you a way to help yourself become more healthy and prevent what's coming down the road, what would that mean to you? See, those are all hook questions, all right? And I just made up the last two. Find your transition question for you and your product and ask it every single time. If you ask that transition question, you're never going to waste an opportunity to turn somebody into something that's going to help them and you in your business, okay? And remember, if you're unable to close that sale during that conversation, you're going to go back to Rule 8 and set up the next conversation. You're going to set up the next appointment. Remember, you're working from appointment to appointment, 24 to 48 hour time frame. Never, never, ever let them make their own purchase on your website. We say this all the time. You never give them your website and let them go out there and make their own purchase. You are basically throwing caution to the wind, and you have no idea if they're ever going to do it. And number two, how they're going to do it. They're going to mess up because they are going to have questions. As soon as they click on your website, they're going to look at it. What is that? Why do I have to put that in there? Well, why are they asking me that question? And if you are on the phone walking them through it, you are selling them on the sale. Basically, you've already sold them, but you're giving them customer service, and they're going to get the thing done right. And I guarantee you, if you don't walk them through it, there will be no backup order set up, no convenience order. And if you want them to be successful, you're going to walk them through it, okay? Wash, rinse, and repeat. What does that mean? These are the initial conversations that you're going to have with people, lots and lots and lots of people. You're going to have these conversations. You're going to get really good at the more that you have with these people, you're going to get good with it, okay? You're going to get more comfortable and more authentic. You're going to become a better listener and how to make a compelling case for what's in it for them, right? You will not be a prospecting slut. And if you are now, you will get better at not being that. And you're going to start having fun, and she promises that, and I do have fun. I actually do have fun. trying to talk to people about plexus, because it's rewarding when they start to see that this could really help them. It's so rewarding when the light comes on and they start to think, wow, this could be really something amazing. And you start to think that you are going to have a connection and a relationship with someone whose life is about to change. So the next thing we're going to talk about in the next chapters is how to effectively close. Because once you talk to them, now you're going to have to bring them through the process of making a commitment. And how do you help them to do that? That's the close process. So next week, which is, let me look at my calendar. This is the 2nd of July. We're going to do chapters 6 and 7. So just have that down on your chart. We're going to be doing chapters 6 and 7, how to close, basically. And the next chapter over is how to deal with objections. So 6 and 7, and that's quite a few pages. Chapter 7 is not very long. It's short. So that's why I went ahead and put 2 together. All right. So at this point, we're going to start our discussion for our team. And thank you so much for joining us. Signing off. See you next week.